The sky was quiet at first. No sirens, no warnings. No one knew it was the end. People were walking to work. Kids were going to school. Planes flew in the sky. Cities were busy. Then, something strange happened. The birds stopped flying. The wind stopped blowing. A shadow appeared over New York, then London, then Tokyo. The ships came huge black shapes like mountains in the sky. No sound, just sighs and fear. They blocked the sun, and for a few moments, the world stood still. A man named Major Grant stood on a rooftop in Washington, watching the sky. "This isn't a drill," he whispered. Around him, soldiers were running, loading weapons, shouting orders. But no one knew what to do. No one had ever seen anything like this. "They're not answering," said a young soldier, holding a headset. "Every channel is dead. Satellites too." Grant looked again at the sky. The ships didn't move. They just waited. Then, they attacked. It started with light, not fire, not bombs. Light blue, bright, silent. Buildings melted. Cars exploded like paper. People vanished. Across the world, in seconds, Earth's great cities were destroyed. New York, Moscow, Beijing, gone. The alien name came through a hacked radio signal. Tarkai. They didn't speak to humans. They didn't give demands. They just came, killed, and moved on. One by one, Earth's armies tried to fight. Jets, tanks, even nuclear missiles were launched. Nothing worked. The Tarkai had shields, weapons no one understood. And they were fast, cold, focused, and merciless. Within 13 days, the war was over. The Tarkai built towers on the ruins. They made humans kneel. Those who resisted were turned to ash. Drones floated in the sky, watching everything. Earth became a silent prison. But not all humans were captured. In the cold north, far away from cities, a small Tarkai patrol walked through a snowy forest in Canada. They were searching for humans hiding in the wild. They laughed, making jokes in their strange language. One of them scanned a tree with a glowing tool. Then he stopped. There were marks, deep scratches in the bark. Too deep for any wild animal. The others gathered. One of them lifted his weapon. Another bent to inspect the snow. Blood, not fresh, but not old either. Then they saw it. A rib cage cleaned, cracked, and left behind. Something had eaten it. Something that knew how to break bones. Suddenly, the radio crackled. "Unit 7, report." But Unit 7 didn't answer. Something moved in the trees. One of the Tarkai turned, firing a bolt of plasma into the forest. The light flashed and hit nothing. Another screamed. He was pulled back into the dark. The others fired wildly. But they were confused, scared. One ran. He didn't get far. A metal wire caught his leg and flipped him upside down. He screamed in his language. His last sight was a figure walking out of the snow covered in frost, holding a blade, eyes cold. Then silence. Only the wind returned. Back at Tarkai Command, in a base built over the remains of Calgary, a high officer reviewed the patrols. Last footage. The screen showed a flash of movement. A blur. A face. A human. "Impossible," the officer hissed. He paused the screen, zooming in. A symbol was painted on the attacker's chest, an old Earth military logo. A wolf with claws. Under it, a word in faded English, Wolverine. 3 days later, a Tarkai dropship was sent to the same forest. This time, they came prepared. Thermal scanners, hunters, a commander with 2 guards. They landed at night. "We find the rebel. We burn the forest if needed," the commander said coldly. They moved in groups. One group found an abandoned cabin. Inside were food supplies, old weapons, and maps of Tarkai troop routes. "It's a war room," one of them said. Another found a note carved into the wall. It was in English. "You thought Earth was conquered. You forgot one thing. We bite back." One of the guards laughed. "They're trying to scare us," he said. But that night, none of them slept. Screams echoed through the trees. One soldier's helmet was found filled with blood. Another's body was hanging from a branch, eyes wide open in fear. They set up a camp, built a fire. One by one, the guards vanished. At dawn, the commander stood alone. The fire was out. Snow fell gently. He turned and found the human standing there. Not hiding anymore. A tall man with short hair, covered in snow and dirt. His eyes were empty. He didn't speak. He moved fast. The commander fired, but the man rolled, slashed with a blade made of steel and bone. The commander fell, bleeding. "Who are you?" The Tarkai gasped. The man leaned close and said one word: "Hunter." In the ruined cities, rumors began to spread. The north is dangerous. Tarka's soldiers go missing there. Someone is fighting back. No one believed it at first. But then a video leaked security footage from the forest base. It showed the man walking through smoke. Tarkai weapons firing. He didn't stop. Some called him a ghost. Others called him a monster. But one word kept coming up: Wolverine. And suddenly, the Tarkai were afraid. Back in the wild, the man cleaned his blade. He looked at the frozen land around him. He picked up a small radio, turned it on, and spoke quietly. "They've landed. Earth has fallen, but I'm still breathing. Activating Wolverine protocol. If anyone's listening, that begins now." Then, he stood, picked up his rifle, and disappeared into the trees. And for the first time since the invasion, the earth felt alive again, because one man was hunting. And war was far from over. The wind whispered through the pine trees. Snow fell quietly, covering the forest in white. The world had changed, but the deep woods of northern Canada still stood untouched. No cities, no drones, no alien towers. Just cold, silence, and shadows. Logan. Kane moved through the trees like a ghost. He wore an old coat, torn but warm. His boots were thick and heavy, built for snow and war. On his back, a long rifle. On his side, a blade handmade, sharp and deadly. His face was rough, with scars. That told stories no one ever heard. His eyes were dark, always watching. He hadn't spoken to another human in over 6 months. Logan lived alone in a wooden cabin deep in the Yukon Mountains. It had no lights, no power, no noise. That's how he liked it. He had once been part of something big: special forces, secret missions, black files. But after the Wolverine project was shut down, he disappeared. Too dangerous, they said. Too hard to control. So he left, took the silence, and never looked back. But silence doesn't last forever. It began with a sound, not loud but strange. A soft, high-pitched hum like electricity in the air. Logan stopped chopping wood and listened. The birds were gone. Even the wind had paused. He turned toward the sound and scanned the sky. Then he saw it. A small drone alien, Tarka made. Smooth, black, with a red blinking light. It hovered above the trees, scanning the area. Logan's heart froze for a moment. Then, training took over. He grabbed his rifle, loaded a single bullet, and took aim. One shot. The drone sparked, shook, and fell to the ground. Logan ran to it. The drone was broken, but the damage was done. "They found me," he muttered. He looked around. No sign of Tarkai yet, but they would come. He had to move fast. He went back to the cabin. The inside was plain old maps, gear, and a metal box under the floorboards. He pulled it out. A fingerprint scanner beeped, accepted his touch. Click. Inside was a set of weapons blades, explosives, and a tablet showing old mission logs. Logan stared at the logo on the tablet screen. A wolf's head with steel claws. Wolverine protocol status. Inactive. He touched the screen. A prompt appeared. Activate? He hesitated. For a long time, he didn't want to go back. He didn't Wanna be that man again, the killer, the soldier. But Earth was under attack. People were dying. The forests would burn next. He had no choice. He pressed yes. That night he didn't sleep. He cleaned his weapons, checked traps, moved gear to a cave nearby. He set motion sensors in the woods. He ate a can of beans, drank from a river. Then he waited. It didn't take long. By dawn, the forest changed again. Footsteps, heavy, wrong. Trees snapped. Branches cracked. Logan crouched in the snow, watching from behind a rock. 3 Tarka soldiers were moving through the forest. Tall, armored, with glowing eyes and strange weapons. They walked in a line, scanning everything. Logan smiled faintly. Too loud, he whispered. He followed them for a while, then stopped near a narrow path. He had been preparing for this moment for years, even before the invasion. The lead Tarke stepped onto a patch of snow that looked normal, but WASN single quotes T. Snap. A trap triggered. A spiked log swung from above, smashing into the alien's chest and knocking him 20 feet back. The other 2 roared in their language, fired blindly into the woods. Logan was already behind them. He moved like a shadow, his blade flashing once. The second alien dropped, neck cut. The last one turned just in time to see Logan's eyes, human eyes, full of rage. It tried to run. Bullet hit its leg. Logan stepped in front of it. The alien crawled backward, hissing. Its gun was broken. It looked at Logan and asked, "What are you?" Logan crouched down. "I'm the last thing you'll ever see." He raised the knife and finished it. Logan dragged the bodies into a frozen ditch, covered them with branches. Then, he sat near the fire, breathing slow. He looked up at the stars. They had come from there, the Tarkai. Destroyers of cities. Killers of children. But they didn't know everything. They didn't know the woods. They didn't know what waited in the dark, and they didn't know Logan. A few days later, he picked up a signal on the broken drone's comm unit. Weak, but real. A human voice. A woman. "If anyone's out there, we need help. They took the camp. They're coming this way. Please, someone." Then static. Logan stared at the signal, jaw tight. He had lived alone for years. Avoided people. But something in her voice reminded him of before, of his team, his brothers. All gone now. He packed his bag, took his rifle, covered the cabin in explosives. If they found it, they wouldn't take it. Then he moved, fast, silent, cold. After 2 days of travel, he reached the camp. Smoke rose from burned tents. Tarke banners hung from trees. Bodies lay on the ground, men, women, even children. Logan's hand clenched, but someone had survived. He found her hiding under a frozen truck, shaking. Mid-30s, worn coat, blood on her face. She looked up, saw him, and froze. "Are you one of them?" she whispered. Logan shook his head. "Human," she cried. "I thought I was alone." "You're not." He took her with him, back toward the hills. She told him her name was Sarah. She had been a nurse. She had tried to help others escape, but the Tarke caught them. "They were hunting us," she said. "Not fighting, hunting," Logan nodded. "That's what they do." "Why are you here?" He looked at her, then said softly, "Because I've hunted before." That night, as Sarah slept by the fire, Logan sent a message through the old satellite tablet. He used a coded channel known only to Wolverine agents. Logan Kane, activated. Protocol engaged. Target, Tarkai, operation begins. If anyone's left, it's time. He closed the tablet. Far in the sky, among the stars, a signal blinked back. A green light. A response. There were others. The next morning, Logan and Sarah packed up. The war had come to the woods. And now, the woods were fighting back. As they disappeared into the trees, the snow fell harder. Drones would come. Tarkai patrols would follow. But they didn't know the ground. They didn't know the cold. They didn't. No Logan Kane. And they never should have stepped into his forest. Snow fell gently on the pine trees. The forest was quiet again. But it was not peace, it was the silence before something deadly. Logan Kane crouched behind a large rock. His rifle rested on his shoulder. Beside him, Sarah lay on her stomach, watching through binoculars. They had found a Tarkai outpost hidden deep in the woods. It wasn't large, just a communication tower, 2 barracks, and a landing pad, but it was well guarded. Logan whispered, 5 guards on the tower. 2 walking the fence, 3 more inside. Sarah nodded. Too many to face head-on. I won't face them head-on, Logan replied. I'll strike from the shadows. That night the wind picked up. Clouds covered the stars. Darkness blanketed everything. It was the perfect night for what Logan had planned. He moved like a ghost. No sound, no trace. His boots touched only solid ground. No branches snapped, no snow crunched. He had done this for years before the war, before the aliens. But tonight was different. Tonight he wasn't alone. As he crept closer to the outpost, Sarah watched from a distance through a small scope. Her hands trembled. She wasn't a soldier, but Logan had taught her how to survive. She knew when to hide and when to run. Logan reached the fence. One of the Tarkai guards stood nearby, his weapon glowing faintly. Logan waited, then threw a small stone across the clearing. The sound distracted the guard, who turned to look. That was all Logan needed. He slipped under the fence and disappeared into the shadows. Inside the outpost, the Tarkai moved slowly. They felt safe. No humans had dared to come this far into the wild. Their commander, a tall alien with silver armor, stood inside the control room, watching data scroll across a screen. He spoke in his strange language. The forest is secure. The last human signal was eliminated yesterday. He didn't know someone was already inside. Logan crept past the barracks, planting small charges near the fuel tanks. He moved under the tower, climbing silently. One guard turned, but it was too late. Logan pulled him down without a sound. The body vanished into the dark. 3 more followed. Fast, clean, quiet. He left the last one alive. The Tarkai guard awoke tied to a post. Logan stood in front of him, face hidden in shadow. Where's your next patrol going? Logan asked calmly. The alien hissed, refusing to speak. Logan pulled out a knife and stabbed it into the wood beside the guard's head. Next time, I won't miss. The guard snarled, then spoke slowly. Northern woods. 5 squads, scanners, hunters. Logan leaned closer. Good, now send them a message. He carved a mark into the guard's armor, a jagged claw mark, and left him there to be found. The charges blew just before dawn. The explosion lit up the sky. The tower cracked and fell sideways. Flames roared from the fuel tanks. Panic spread. Aliens ran in every direction. From the trees, Sarah watched the chaos. She saw Logan run through the smoke, gun in one hand, blade in the other. He was faster than she'd ever seen him. Every shot he fired hit its target. Every movement had purpose. One Tarkai reached for an alarm. Logan dropped him with a throwing knife. Another tried to escape in a small ship. Logan climbed aboard before it could take off. Moments later, the ship exploded in midair. Sarah gasped, but Logan walked out of the smoke, limping slightly, breathing hard. He had won. Hours later, back at the cave, Logan stitched a cut on his arm. While Sarah boiled snow for drinking water, "You almost got yourself killed," she said. "I'm not that easy to kill. Next time, tell me the full plan. I thought you were dead." Logan looked at her, then said quietly, "If I die, don't wait. Keep fighting." Sarah shook her head. "You keep fighting. I'll keep saving your life." They both smiled, just a little. The next day, Logan picked up chatter on the stolen Tarkai radio. Panic was spreading. Unknown attacker. Kills. Without sound, leaves claw marks, possibly not human. The message repeated in different languages. Fear had taken root. Sarah leaned over his shoulder. They think you're a creature. Let them, Logan replied. Fear is a weapon. 2. Over the next 2 weeks, the attacks continued. Logan hit supply routes, cut power to outposts, destroyed patrols one by one. He left no pattern, no tracks. Just death and silence. Word spread among humans in hiding. There's someone fighting back. They call him the Wolverine. He's not just one man. He's a myth. Some believed Logan was a spirit. Others said he was a machine built to destroy Tarkai. No one knew the truth, but hope returned. And with hope came strength. Then something unexpected happened. One night, as Logan and Sarah returned to the cave, they found a small fire burning nearby. 3 figures stood around it. Humans. Logan raised his rifle. Easy, one of them said. We're not Tarkai. They stepped into the light. 2 men, 1 woman. Dirty clothes, worn faces, but eyes filled with fire. You're him, aren't you? One asked. The man in the woods. Logan said nothing. The woman stepped forward. We were part of a resistance group in the east. Got ambushed. Lost everyone. We saw your signs. We followed them. Sarah looked at Logan. You left signs? He shrugged. A few. In case someone was watching, the man said. We want to help. Teach us what you know. Logan stared at them for a long moment. Then he nodded. That night, for the first time in years, the cave was full. People laughed softly, carefully, but it was laughter. Logan sat at the edge, sharpening his knife, listening. He hadn't meant to start a movement, but now something had begun. Not just survival, not just revenge. War, and from the shadows the Wolverine was leading it. The snow-covered forest was no longer quiet. Every night, something burned in the distance. Patrol ships crashed. Drones vanished. Outposts went silent without warning. What was once a peaceful occupation had become a nightmare for the Tarkai. They no longer walked through the trees with confidence. They moved in groups, always armed, always scanning the shadows. Even then, they were not safe. It wasn't war. It was a hunt. General Kor, commander of the Tarkai Northern Zone, stared at the holoscreen inside his armored bunker. Red warning lights blinked across the map. Outposts Alpha, Delta, and K7 were gone. Patrol teams hadn't returned. Supply lines were broken. He slammed his fist on the table. This is not a human army, he shouted. This is one thing. A smaller Tarkai officer spoke softly. The prisoners speak of a shadow, a man they call the Wolverine. Kor growled. One man cannot do this. The officer swallowed hard. We have recovered bodies. All show blade wounds. Most are found hanging or buried in snow. We found signs. Old human tactic straps, ambushes, silent strikes. Kor narrowed his eyes. Then he is not a man. He is something else. The room went silent. The fear had reached them too. In the forest, Logan sat by a fire with 6 others, his small group growing slowly. They had found more survivors in the mountains. Ex-soldiers, farmers, mechanics. One was a teenage girl who had never fired a gun before, but now trained. Every morning with sharp focus, Logan gave each of them a task. You don't need to fight. Like I do, he said one evening, but you will fight. This forest is our home now. If we fall, Earth falls with us. Sarah smiled as she passed out warm soup. You talk like a leader now. Logan replied quietly, I didn't choose this. They did when they thought Earth was easy. The next attack came without warning. A massive Tarkai force entered the woods. 50 soldiers, scanners, air support. They dropped in from above and spread out quickly. The forest shook under their heavy steps. They were hunting Logan, but Logan was already watching them. Hidden in the trees, his people waited. The traps had already been set. Wires, spikes, and pressure plates under snow. A single step in the wrong place could end a life. The first explosion came from the east, then another from the north. Panic spread. The Tarkai fired in all directions, but they hit nothing. Logan whispered through the radio, "Now." From the trees, small flashes of fire lit up. Molotovs, bullets, arrows tipped in poison. The battle was quick and brutal. When it ended, 30 Tarkai were dead. 10 had fled. Only a few made it back to the dropship, and even that didn't get far. A rope trap pulled it down into a frozen lake. No survivors. Back at the Tarkai base, fear spread faster than fire. Messages flew through the network. He is everywhere. He sees in the dark. He walks through fire. We shoot, and he disappears. General Corps ordered a full retreat from the Yukon area. No more patrols. We hold the cities. His officer asked, "What if the Wolverine comes for the cities next?" Corps stared at him for a long moment, then replied, "Then we burn them before he does." In a small cave north of the last battle, Logan watched the news through a stolen tablet. Tarkai networks were now open. Broken security made it easy to hear everything. "They're scared," Sarah said. "They should be," Logan replied. "They started this. They wanted Earth. They got it. But they didn't understand it," she added. "They didn't understand humans." Logan stood up and looked at the group gathered around the fire. "I'm not fighting alone anymore," he said. "You've all seen what we can do. Now we move faster. We spread the fear further. We don't stop until they run." Over the next few weeks, Logan's tactics grew bolder. His group split into small units. Each one learned to move like shadows, quiet, quick, deadly. They attacked from underground tunnels. They brought down towers with rope and fire. They used silence as their weapon and fear as their shield. The Tarkai began leaving messages behind. When retreating, symbols of warning, strange words scratched into stone. One of the survivors translated it from their language. It means, "Demon of Earth." Sarah laughed when she heard it. "He's not a demon," she said. "He's just very, very angry." Then came the twist. Late one night, as Logan returned from a solo mission, he found a small object at the edge of the cave entrance. It was a box, black, smooth, alien. A gift? A trap? He opened it carefully. Inside was a message, written in English. "We want to talk." Below, it was a location, an abandoned Tarkai outpost, far east. Logan held it for a long time. Then, without a word, he packed his rifle and knife. Sarah stopped him. "It could be a trap." "Maybe," he said. "But if it's not, we may have just scared them into something worse." The meeting place was empty. Or so it seemed. Logan stepped into the burned-out ruins of the outpost. His gun was ready. Every step was slow, careful. Then a mechanical voice spoke from the shadows. "You are not like other humans." Logan didn't move. "You've killed enough of us to know that. We came to conquer. But now we do not sleep. We do not eat. We only watch the woods and wait." "You're afraid," Logan said. There was a pause. "Yes." Logan stepped forward. "Then leave, while you still can." Another pause. "We are not ready to leave, but we no longer control the ground. That belongs to you." Logan walked out of the ruins without shooting a single bullet. He didn't know if it was a trick or a truth, but something had changed. Fear was spreading faster than gunfire now. And it wasn't just in the trees. It was in the hearts of the invaders. That night, back at the cave, Sarah asked him what happened. "They're breaking," Logan said. "Little by little." "Are we winning?" Logan stared into the fire. "Not yet. But for the first time, they're bleeding." The snowstorm was heavy that night. Wind howled through the trees like wolves calling in the dark. Logan Kane stood still under a pine tree, listening to the forest. Something was wrong. He had seen the smoke from miles away, thick, black, unnatural. It rose straight into the gray sky. He moved closer, careful with every step. The forest didn't feel right. No birds. No animal tracks. Just silence. Sarah's voice whispered through the radio in his ear. "Are you close?" "Almost," Logan said softly, "but something's off. It's too quiet." He reached the top of a ridge and looked down. There it was, a human camp. Dozens of people in chains, guarded by Tarke soldiers. Fires burned in barrels. The people were cold, hungry, scared. Logan's jaw tightened. His grip on his rifle grew firm. "They're using prisoners," he said, "trying to draw me out." "Then we should fall back," Sarah replied quickly. "It's a trap. You said it yourself." Logan watched the camp. A Tarkai commander stood in the center, shouting orders. He looked directly at the tree straight toward Logan's position. "They want me to come," Logan said. "So I will." Sarah's voice turned sharp. "No, that's suicide. We'll find another way." Logan's eyes stayed on the camp. "I already have a way." The Tarkai called it Operation Baitfang. 50 soldiers, 10 drones, sniper towers, plasma turrets, all placed around a fake prison camp filled with real human prisoners. The goal was simple: draw out the Wolverine and kill him in one strike. General Kor had ordered it himself. The creature was too dangerous. Fear was spreading. His men refused patrols. Some were even deserting. Kor had one chance to crush the legend. He had to prove the Wolverine could bleed. The commander at the camp smiled as he watched the trees. "He'll come. He won't let them die. We'll crush him like an insect." But the commander didn't know something important. Logan had been watching them long before they had started watching him. That night, under the cover of the storm, Logan moved. He didn't come through the trees. He came from underground. A week before, he had discovered an old mining tunnel beneath the forest. It was long, cold, and half collapsed, but it led right under the camp. He had kept it secret, even from his team. In case he ever needed it, tonight he did. He crawled through dirt and ice for almost an hour. No sound, no light. Only the feeling of purpose and rage. When he emerged, he was behind the main generator, the heart of the Tarke power system. He placed a charge, then another, then 2 more. Then he whispered into the radio, "Sarah, on my mark. Create noise. At the east tree line, make them turn." A pause. "You sure?" she asked. "Do it," Logan said. "And then be ready." Seconds later, gunfire echoed from the east side. Drones flew toward the trees. Tarkai guards shouted and ran toward the sound. That's when the camp went dark. Boom. The generator exploded in a flash of light. Lights flickered out. Towers powered down. Panic filled the camp, and Logan moved. He was fast. A shadow in the chaos. The first guard didn't see the knife. The second tried to fire, but the plasma gun jammed. A third screamed before he hit the ground. Within minutes, Logan reached the cages. "Stay quiet," he told the prisoners. "Follow me, slowly." They looked at him with wide eyes. Some cried. Some whispered prayers. One young boy asked, "Are you the Wolverine?" Logan didn't answer. He just cut the lock and moved on. Alarms screamed through the night. The commander ran to the control center, shouting, "Where is he? Someone give me his position." No one could. The cameras were out. The scanners were down. Drones flew in. Circles blind. Then a voice came through the camp speakers. Logan's voice. "You built a trap, but forgot one thing." The commander froze. "I said it first." Boom. Explosives planted near the turrets blew up in unison. The towers collapsed. Half the camp was burning. Screams filled the air. Logan walked through the smoke like death itself. One by one, he took them down. Knife, rifle, fire. The commander tried to flee. He made it 10 steps before Logan caught him. The alien fell to his knees. "Wait, I surrender." Logan looked at him with cold eyes. "You made them suffer. I was just following orders." "So am I." Then silence. By morning, The camp was gone. Only smoke and bodies remained. The prisoners were free. They were taken to a hidden valley where Sarah and others waited with food, medicine, and warmth. One old man pulled Logan aside. "You gave us back hope," he said. "I gave you back your fight," Logan replied. "Now use it." Back at the Tarkai command ship, General Kor received the report. He read it twice, then crushed the datapad in his hand. 50 soldiers. "Gone," he growled. His officer stood shaking. "We believe." He knew the trap. He turned it into his plan. Kor snarled. "No more bait, no more games. Burn it all. If we can't find him, we kill the forest." "But General," the officer warned, "if we burn the forest, we lose the mines. The towers." Kor slammed his fist on the table. "I said burn it." High in the trees, Logan watched flames rising in the distance. "They're destroying everything," Sarah said beside him. Logan nodded. "Out of fear." She looked at him. "Are you going to stop them?" "No," Logan said. "We're going to do worse," she frowned. "What's worse than fear?" Logan's voice was calm. "Cold. Hope." Smoke curled into the sky. The forest was burning. The Tarkai did not care. They wanted the Wolverine gone at any cost. Logan Kane stood on a rocky ledge, watching the destruction below. Flames spread across trees, birds fled, and the ground trembled under falling machines. Sarah stood beside him, arms crossed, eyes hard. "They've lost their minds," she said. "No," Logan replied. "They're scared." "You think fear makes them burn the whole forest?" Logan turned to her. "Fear makes them desperate. But we'll use it. It's time." She looked at him. "You mean," he nodded once, "activate it, the Wolverine protocol." Deep inside a hidden bunker, buried under stone and metal, Sarah inserted a key into a rusted control panel. The screen flickered. A red symbol appeared, a snarling Wolverine's head. The system came alive with an eerie hum. Old lights blinked. Locked doors slid open. Steel crates, untouched for years, hissed as their seals broke. She typed one line. "Protocol Wolverine, I an idea." Screen replied. "Authorization accepted." Releasing units. Stage 1. Outside, in a hidden valley, old shelters opened. Men and women soldiers long thought dead stepped out. They wore black armor marked with a red stripe. Each had a long scar across their arm, a mark of the Wolverine unit. They were ghost soldiers, Logan's old team. Back in the forest, the Tarka commander shouted orders. "Torch it all! If it moves, kill it!" His soldiers moved quickly. Flamethrowers roared. Drones scanned the trees. The ground shook again, but this time it wasn't fire. It was footsteps. Heavy, fast, many. Then it began. A scream. Then 2. The commander turned just in time to see a soldier dragged into the trees by something black and fast. What was that? He shouted. No one answered. Gunfire echoed through the forest. Explosions followed. Panic spread. Logan moved like a shadow through the smoke. His team was already hitting the east side of the Tarkai camp. Silent kills. Precision strikes. No mercy. Sarah's voice came through his earpiece. 2 down. Drones are blind. We're in full stealth. Good, Logan said. Keep it tight. He looked around. Trees burned. Bodies lay scattered. Fear hung in the air like fog. The protocol had worked. The legend of the Wolverine was no longer just him. Now it was many. General Kor slammed his fist against the war table. "Status report," he shouted. The officer looked pale. "Sir, 5 outposts are silent. No signals. Scouts sent to check haven't returned." Kor's eyes narrowed. "And the main force?" "Under attack." "But it's not just one man. It's multiple. Impossible." "There's only one Wolverine." The officer hesitated. "Not anymore, sir." Kor leaned forward, breathing hard. "Then we change the rules. No more hunting. We go nuclear." Hours later, Sarah and Logan met again near a frozen stream. The sky was red with smoke. Snowflakes fell softly, trying to cover the blood. "We've hit 10 camps," Sarah said. "Freed over 300 prisoners. What's next?" Logan wiped blood from his blade. "They'll try something big," he said. "A full purge. They'll bomb the valley." "How do you know?" "Because it's what I would do." She frowned. "Then we need to move the people." Logan shook his head. "No time. We hold them off." She looked at him, shocked. "With what? A few dozen soldiers?" "No," he said, "with a nightmare." As night fell, the Tarkai launched their final plan. 3 warships hovered above the forest. Massive cannons pointed down. Kor stood on the bridge, staring at a live map. "Fire when ready," he said coldly. The gunner began to aim, but then the screens went black. "What's happening?" Kor barked. "Unknown signal," the tech said. "We're being hacked." Suddenly, the speakers turned on. Logan's voice echoed through the ship. "You burned the forest. You hunted the weak. But you forgot one thing." Kor's eyes widened. "You're not the only ones with weapons." Explosions rocked the sky. From the mountain ridges, hidden railguns, part of the protocol, fired massive rounds. 2 Tarkai ships went down fast, torn in half. The third tried to escape, but drones reprogrammed by Sarah followed and hit its engines. The last ship crashed into the valley with a roar that shook the earth. From the trees, humans emerged armed, trained, ready. Old soldiers, farmers, even teenagers fighting back. The Wolverine protocol had awakened not just a unit, it had awakened humanity. Kor crawled from the wreckage. Face burned, armor shattered. He reached for his weapon, but a boot slammed down on his hand. Logan stood over him. "You," Kor growled. "This is all your fault." "No," Logan said calmly. "This is your consequence. You can't win. You're just animals, primitive, broken." Logan knelt down beside him. "Then why are you bleeding?" Kor tried to speak, but Logan stopped him. "This forest doesn't belong to you. This planet doesn't belong to you. You came to break us, but you woke the wrong enemy." Kor's eyes widened. "You're not just a man." "No," Logan said. "I'm a reminder." And then it was over. Days later, the fires stopped. Snow began to fall again. The forest was scarred, but alive. And so were the people. The Wolverine protocol was deactivated, but its memory remained. Humans had learned something. They didn't need to run anymore. They didn't need to hide. They could fight. They could win. And in the quiet cold, the legend grew louder. The Tarkai still whispered it across space. One word that filled them with fear. Wolverine. Smoke still rose from the crashed Tarkai warships. The snow-covered forest was silent, except for the whispers of survivors and the sound of boots crunching on ice. But something had changed. Earth was no longer afraid. The fear now lived in the hearts of the invaders. Logan stood at the edge of the ruined battlefield, watching the horizon. Sarah joined him, holding a piece of broken Tarkai armor. "They're coming again," she said. "Scouts say a new fleet 5 times bigger." Logan didn't flinch. "Let them. You think we can win?" He looked at the clouds. "We already are." In the ruined cities, people were rebuilding. Fires were put out. Old bunkers were opened. Factories hidden underground started working again, powered by ancient nuclear cores. Weapons once locked away were returned to the hands of those ready to fight. Old soldiers, long retired, trained the young. Engineers rebuilt tanks and war drones. Mechanics modified civilian cars into armored vehicles. Farmers carried rifles while planting crops. Earth had suffered, but now it was ready to fight, and it had help. The Wolverine units spread across the world. Each team moved silently through forests, deserts, and mountains, striking at Tarka Coals, and disappearing into the shadows. In a deep bunker below the Rocky Mountains, leaders from what was left of Earth's governments gathered around a table. Logan stood before them, a map lit up behind him. "They will strike all at once," he said. "They think we're still weak." An old general leaned forward. "What do we do?" Logan pointed to the map. "We don't wait. We hit them first." Sarah stepped in, handing out small devices. "This," she said, "is a virus. Not for humans, it's for their ships. We've cracked their code. We can blind their targeting systems." The room went silent. "Are you sure it will work?" Someone asked. Sarah smiled. "It worked on 3 warships last week. They didn't even know what hit them." Above the Earth, the new Tarke fleet approached. Massive ships, black, silent, like floating cities, blocked out the stars. "Commander." Varn watched the blue planet with hatred. "These creatures dare fight back," he said. "They were supposed to kneel." His second officer hesitated. "They are unpredictable." Varn turned slowly. "Then let's remove the planet. Burn everything. Start over." But just as he gave the order, the alarms went off. "All systems failing." A voice shouted, "Targeting offline. Shields down." Varn's eyes widened. "How?" Far below, Sarah smiled in the bunker. "They're blind." Logan stood beside her. "Then it's time." He pressed a button. Hundreds of missiles launched from silos hidden under mountains, lakes, and forests. Satellites activated. Railguns fired from space platforms that hadn't moved in decades, and the humans. They rose. In every city still. Standing, Wolverines and fighters stormed enemy strongholds. Drones flew through streets, hitting Tarke walkers. EMPs shut down alien machines. Civilians helped where they could, smuggling supplies, hiding fighters, sabotaging enemy tech. The Earth itself fought back. In New York, a Wolverine team led by a man called Bear took the fight to the heart of a Tarke tower. "They're not ready." Bear growled as he kicked down the steel doors. Laser fire filled the air. A young fighter beside him shouted, "They've got shields." Bear threw a grenade that hummed with blue light. "Not anymore." Boom! The shields dropped, and the humans charged in. Room by room they cleared the tower. Meanwhile, in the ruins of Moscow, a different kind of battle raged. A Tarkai warbeast 20 feet tall, with burning red eyes, rampaged through the streets. A small girl cried behind a broken car as the beast roared. Then it paused. From the shadows, a single figure walked out. Logan. He carried a heavy plasma axe salvaged from a Tarke mech. The beast turned to him. Logan didn't blink. "Let's dance." They fought for 7 minutes. Claws and fire, steel and bone. Logan was thrown into walls, crushed under rubble, bleeding. But in the end, the beast fell. Its head rolled onto the snow, steam rising from its neck. Logan stood over it, breathing hard. "Not today," he whispered. In space, the human virus spread. One by one, Tarke ships lost power. Engines froze. Guns stopped working. Shields dropped. Human space station, once a museum, powered up its old defense lasers. A voice echoed across radio waves, an old captain's voice. "For Earth," he said. The beams fired. Ships exploded. Varn's command ship tried to flee, but it was too late. Sarah, in a command room deep underground, hit the final switch. A satellite above fired a tungsten rod straight through the ship's core. It fell. The next morning, Earth was quiet. Not silent. Birds chirped. People cried. Sun sang. But the alien sounds, those were gone. Wreckage floated in orbit. The forests were still burning in places, but the fires were dying. Rain began to fall. Logan walked through a destroyed village. A child ran up to him. "Are they gone?" The child asked. He knelt down. "Most of them. Some may come back, but next time," he smiled, "we'll be ready." Later that day, in the same bunker, leaders gathered again. This time they weren't arguing. They listened. Logan stood in the center. "We fought like animals because they treated us like prey," he said. "But we are not weak. We are not alone. The Wolverine protocol showed us what we could become. He looked around. They came to break us, but we broke their pride, their machines, their fleet. He raised his voice. Earth fought back. And Earth won. Applause rose. Fists lifted from the ashes of defeat. Earth had risen, and the galaxy would remember the day, not when Earth fell, but when Earth stood. Rain fell gently on the battlefield. The wind carried the smell of burned metal, wet soil, and old blood. All across the Earth, humans were cleaning up the ruins of a war no one wanted. But everyone had fought. Most thought it was over. But Logan knew better. He stood near a broken Tarkai ship deep in the woods of northern Canada, staring at a signal scanner. The screen showed a red dot blinking slowly. "They're still here," he muttered. Sarah, standing beside him, frowned. "I thought we took them all out." "Not all." Logan pointed at the dot. "One ship escaped the virus. Stealth class. It didn't run, it hid." "Where?" He looked up toward the snowy mountains. "Under us. Miles below the Earth, hidden beneath layers of rock, the last Tarkai war team was still alive. They had a name among their kind, the Final Talon. Trained not to conquer, but to destroy. Their leader, Commander Krell, limped across the command deck of the hidden base. His armor was cracked. One arm burned with acid damage. But his eyes were cold and full of hate. "We may have lost the sky," he growled, "but we will poison the ground." One of his soldiers asked, "What is the plan, Commander?" Krell showed them a device. It was small, but it pulsed with power. "A world killer," he said. "If we can't rule Earth, we will erase it." Back above, Logan and Sarah gathered the last Wolverine team, 12 soldiers. All survivors, all dangerous. "All ready, we're going underground," Logan said. "This is it, no second chances." Bear grinned, gripping his shotgun, "Just the way I like it." The youngest member, a silent girl named Mina, checked her knives and whispered, "Let's hunt." The entrance was hidden under a frozen lake. Sarah hacked the old Tarkai codes, and the ice split open like a cracking shell. A steel shaft led into blackness. They dropped down one by one. Dark, cold, silent. As they moved deeper, strange sounds echoed around them. Machines that didn't belong on Earth. Whispers of something alive. And angry, Logan raised a hand. "Stop." A motion detector beeped softly. Too late. The wall exploded. Tarkai machines leapt out, spider-like, hissing, sharp-legged. One jumped onto Mina. Bear shouted, "Down!" and shot it off her. The team fought hard, lasers, grenades, blades, but something was different. "They're smarter now," Sarah yelled. "They've adapted." Mina sliced 2 of them and whispered, "So have we." They pushed forward, deeper into the heart of the hidden base. Every hallway was a trap. Explosives, auto turrets, poison gas. They lost 2 men, one crushed, one gone in flame. No time to mourn. No time to cry. Just forward. At last, they reached the core. A round room, dark walls. A glowing orb in the center. Krell stood before it, weapon ready, watching them with cold yellow eyes. "You are late," he said. Logan stepped forward. "Turn it off." Krell shook his head slowly. "Do you not understand? You may have survived, but I will make Earth forget you. I will make the stars forget you." He pressed a button. The world killer began to hum. The room shook. Sirens screamed. Krell charged. Chaos. Bullets flew. Sparks danced. Krell moved like a shadow. Strong, fast, inhuman. He slammed into Bear, breaking his ribs. Threw Mina into a wall. Fired at Sarah, barely missing her head. Logan leapt on him. They fought hand to hand. Krell's blade against Logan's fists. Both bleeding. Both growling. "You should have died with your world," Krell snarled. Logan grinned through blood. "We don't die easy." With a scream, he drove a knife into Krell's throat. The alien gasped, staggered, and fell, but the orb kept humming. Sarah ran to the console. It's locked. Auto start. Lena limped to her side. Can we stop it? No, Sarah said. But maybe we can redirect it. The Wolverine team circled the orb. Sarah worked fast. I can't shut it down, she said. But I can make it jump, send the blast into orbit, straight up. How? Bear asked. We overload the reactor, she said. All of us together. It'll cook everything in this base, including us. A long silence, then Logan nodded. Do it. They worked without speaking, quiet hands, focused eyes. Each person knowing what had to be done. As Sarah typed the last code, the reactor began to burn. Now. She shouted. They all ran. Alarms blared louder. Fire danced along the walls. The whole base shook. Logan carried Mina. Bear supported Sarah. They moved as one, fast, desperate, determined. They reached the shaft. One ladder. No time. Go.